PlayStation 2. My first console on the best-selling video game system of all time. And rightfully so. PS2 had a lot of good games for it. Kingdom Hearts, Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, Shadow of the Colossus, and plenty more. Just about every popular PS2 title have one thing in common. I didn't have any of them. Seriously, I didn't even know most of these games existed. How the hell did kid me never look at Kingdom Hearts and think, wow, this game looks awesome? I saw that game at Disney World and thought it looked stupid. I got a PS2 when I was like 3 or 4, right? Oh, PS2 was mostly used for some Britney Spears game, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets on PS1, a bunch of shovelware I don't remember, and Sly Cooper. Let's talk about that game for a bit. I don't even remember how I got this game. I think we got it with a PS2, but hell if I know. This game could have been hand-delivered to me by Nicolas Cage for all I know. Sly Cooper just kinda materialized in my life at one point. Now that I think about it, this game was the first 3D platform I ever played. That's my favorite genre, so this is a pretty good place to start with. Sly was one of my favorite series of games growing up, but even now, there's still some of my favorite PS2 games. Kingdom Hearts 2 and Persona 4 give it some competition nowadays, but the first game is still my favorite PS2 game. Yeah, I'm pretty nostalgic towards this game, but I'll snap my nostalgia shades in 2 if necessary. Granted, that's only an issue if the game is bad. Which this one isn't. Time to look at the underdog of Sony platformers. 4:20 AM. Nice. I got an achievement, but I didn't do anything. The game starts out with Sly breaking into a police station to steal the police file? Alright. This singular file is in this one big safe. Makes sense to me. Sly's on his way out when the cops show up literally out of nowhere. This is Carmelita Fox. She's completely hell-bent on putting Sly behind bars, and spoilers, she never succeeds in doing so. Carmelita holds Sly at gunpoint, and like any sane person would, Sly starts flirting with her.
Hey, you know, that bazooka really brings out the color of your eyes. Very fetching.
You think? This pistol packs a paralyzing punch. You ought to try it. Might snap you out of your crime spree.
And give up our little rendezvous?
Plenty of time for that once you're safely behind bars.
My god, just get a room already. Luckily, Carmelita has stormtrooper levels of aim, and Sly escapes without even trying. Sly's a thief if it wasn't obvious yet. In fact, he comes from a long line of thieves, even dating back as far as ancient Egypt. All of Sly's ancestors chronicle their thieving adventures into the Thievius Raccoonus. Oh. The Coopers specialize in stealing from criminals, because stealing from ordinary people isn't challenging or fun. The game's words, not mine. If you can steal from a master criminal, you know you're a master thief. And the night Sly was supposed to inherit the book, 5 visitors came to Sly's house unannounced. These visitors, known as the Fiendish Five, ransacked their house, stole the Thievius Raccoonus, and murdered Sly's family right in front of him. This game claims to be rated E. The Fiendish Five split up the book between them and ran off into several corners of the world. Sly was sent to an orphanage where we met Bentley, the brains of their operation, and Murray, the comic relief? Other than driving the van, he doesn't really do much in this game. Now Sly and the gang have to track down the Fiendish Five and steal back the Thievius Raccoonus for some good old-fashioned revenge. So it doesn't really get that much more complicated than that, but it still feels pretty unique. No saving the world, no goal to rescue, just some guy trying to steal back his inheritance. It's also told in this cartoony noir style, but still pretty cool. The style gets improved with later games, like Hoover's cel-shaded style still looks good, especially on the PS3 collection. There's even animated cutscenes in between each episode to give backstory on each of the game's villains. They feel a little cheaply made, but they're charming at least. The voice acting in this game gets the job done pretty well too. Each character's voice fits well and it's pretty decent acting for the most part. Sly's acting sounds a bit stilted, but his acting gets way better in later games. A lot of dialogue is told through these intercom conversations between characters. Weirdly, you can move their portraits around with the analog sticks. It's kinda dumb, but you probably won't notice being able to do this anyway. The characters are all really likable too. Murray's a lovable oaf, Bentley constantly helps you behind the scenes with his seemingly infinite knowledge, and Sly's the cockiest son of a bitch I've ever seen. It doesn't even come off as asshole-ish. It comes off as more... Sly. You clever bastards. The villains are pretty likable too. My favorite villain being Mugshot. This guy was bullied a bit too much and watched the Dogfather one too many times, just got absolutely shredded. My god, dude, not every day is Arm Day. This guy walks with his arms. That is hardcore. I love Clockwork too, but I'll get into him later. Sly Cooper is a pretty linear 3D platform, and there's a really big emphasis on sneaking around. There's even searchlights and security lasers you have to avoid. Set these off twice and you get hit, and you die in one hit, so you can't really afford to get noticed by these things. Some enemies have flashlights you have to avoid too. Most enemies go down in one hit, so it feels fair at least. You can take more hits by grabbing lucky charms, but you can only carry 2 at most. You can find them either laying around or by getting 100 coins. Lucky charms are pretty common, so you can take a few hits every now and then. Checkpoints are frequent as well, so you don't need to fret about dying. Moving around is pretty fun in this game. Sly can perform super sneaky thief moves like sidling across ledges, landing on small points, walking across ropes, that sort of thing. Most of these actions can be performed with the circle button, and the game won't let you forget it.
And hold down the circle button. You have to get close.
Then hit the circle button.
Just jump and hit the circle button.
Got it. Jump and hit the circle button. Jump and hit the circle button.
All you gotta do is
Jump and hit the circle button.
leapeth lively and presseth the triggering device with the round geometrical object emblazoned upon it. Press the circle to enter the vault code.
The plot MacGuffins this time around come in the form of keys. Get all 7 keys, beat the boss, move on to the next episode. Simple enough. Although you do get some choice in what levels to tackle first, you do unlock more levels once you get 3 of the 7 keys. Some levels are minigames though, and they vary in quality. Some are fun, like defending Murray with this turret and this hovercraft thing that goes shooty shooty bang bang. Some minigames are annoying, like running over piranhas to light up a bunch of tiki torches. Because this makes perfect sense. The racing minigame is dumb too. The other cores moves at the same speed as you, so you have to rely on these nitro cans to give you a boost. The first track has some pretty cool foreshadowing to the later villains though. On the right side, Sly Cooper is pretty easy. Even if some minigames are annoying, none are unbearable, and you can beat them pretty easily after a few tries. If I could beat this game when I was a kid multiple times, I'm sure anyone with average skill can finish this game a little issue. There's a lot of level variety in this game too. Each episode takes place at a new location, and none of them feel samey. There's a mansion/factory that has a giant weather machine constantly making it rain, casinos and cityscapes in Utah, and even a paranormal Haitian jungle. Each level in the game takes place at night too, which really enhances the feeling of sneaking around. The bosses in the game are pretty standard fare though. They're not bad, they're not great. The fight against Miss Ruby is really annoying though. You have to dodge her attacks by pressing the corresponding button. It sounds simple, but you have to press the button a bit before you would expect to. It's really hard to describe, but you usually end up pressing it too late and die because of it. This is probably the longest boss in the game, and when you die, you have to start all over. If you get a game over, you even have to rewatch a cutscene before the fight.
I want to see how well you pay attention.
Do I really have to pay attention to a monologue, though? Let me skip cutscenes, please. When you finish an episode, Sly has a new ability. Kind of. You technically gain a new ability like spiral jumping or rail walking, but you can't go back to previous levels and use it. Each ability is never used until you're able to use it. I don't know, it's weird. You gain the ability to turn invisible later in the game, but you can't move while doing it, so it's pretty useless except for when the game wants you to use it. You can also gain abilities in each main level, scattered around each level that isn't a minigame or clues that open up a safe in that level. Bentley, being a genius, figures out the combo for each safe using the clues Sly sends him. Input the combination and you'll get yourself a page of the Thievius Raccoonus. These abilities vary from useless to somewhat helpful. Why would I ever use this weird roll move? Why would I ever need to slow down time? There's one safe in each episode that reveals the locations of all clues for that episode. Those ones are useful, but they're usually near the end of the episode, so I barely get to make use of it since I already got all or most of the safes. Being able to speed up time, though, that's awesome. Being able to move faster is always nice. Pages that protect you from water and falling off cliffs are helpful too. What's really annoying is that there's one safe in the game that you can't open until you finish the game. I don't even know why the game does this. You don't even get anything useful out of it, just being able to stun enemies around you. Okay, that sounds nice, but now that the book is complete, I don't really have a reason to use it. Well, at least I have the Platinum Trophy now. The PS3 and Vita versions have trophies, and they are piss easy to obtain. You literally get an achievement for turning on the game. Pressing the X button is hard. The trophies for the other games in Sly Collection are pretty easy to get to. Sly 3 actually requires you to 100% the game, but that's pretty fair. In Sly 1, just finish the game and open up all the safes. Enjoy your easy Platinum Trophy. Only one more member of the Fiendish 5 to go. There's no real info on the guy other than being an owl named Clockwork, but Sly keeps noticing some owl-like figure in the pages of the Thievius Raccoonus. Ominous. It starts off with a rail shooter section, which isn't that bad once you get the hang of it, and Jesus! Clockwork has a death ray and he's trying to kill us all before we even get there. What a guy. The last episode is a bit different from the other ones. There's no keys to collect this time, you just play each level in a set order. Most of this episode are minigames, strangely. Like, there's only 3 parts in the whole episode where we play as Sly normally. The minigames aren't too bad once you get the hang of them, but it's a pretty weird way to do a final level. At least we get to play as Carmelita for a bit, even if it is just another church section. The last level before the final boss is cool too. You gotta get to the top of Clockwork's Death Wave earlier and get to Comolita's jetpack that she apparently has. Sounds simple, but the whole thing is sinking into the volcano below you. No pressure. I'm just like, as the jetpack is finally time to fight the leader of the Phoenix 5. My god, Clockwork is kind of terrifying. This guy may have tried to kill Sly with the Death Ray and a gas chamber, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Clockwork has had a giant hatred for the Cooper family for hundreds of years. And yes, I said hundreds of years. Clockwork replaced his mortal body with machinery solely so his hatred of the Coopers could live on. I guess Clockwork is butthurt there's more than one master thief in town, so he waited in cold silence for hundreds of years until the Coopers were almost gone. Then, he killed Sly's family, stole Thievius' Raccoonus, and split it between the Phoenix 5 so he had little chance of recovering all of it, and waited for Sly to become an adult so Clockwork could finally destroy the Cooper line. Jesus Christ. Clockwork is way too evil to come from a game like this. To top it all off, he'd only let Sly live because he wanted to prove that the Coopers were nothing without their book. That was a bit of a missight on his part, but to be fair, Sly is practically a self-taught thief up until the beginning of the game. He just runs to the family, I guess. The game turns into Soul Raccoon for a bit, Clockwork goes down pretty easily, and the Phoenix 5 have finally been defeated. Oh yeah, I forgot there was a cop chasing after us. Comolita stays true to her word and gives Sly a 10-second head start to leave. Sly, being the sly bastard that he is, does this.
3, 2, 1.
If Sly didn't have a chance with this woman before, he definitely doesn't now. Oh hey look, Clockwork isn't dead. I always get a giggle out of that scream though. At about 6 to 8 hours, Sly Cooper is a pretty decent length. A tad short, but for this kind of game, the length feels right. The PS2 version plays fine, but you'll probably want to play the Sly Collection on PS3 if you can. It's the same game, but in HD and adds trophies. There's a few minor UI issues in 2 and 3, but it's nothing that affects gameplay. PS3 version is what I've been playing, but PS2 is still fine if you don't have a PS3. Weirdly, the Sly Collection is also on PS Vita if you're a weirdo like me who has one. Most Vita collections have horrible frame rate problems, but Sly, luckily, doesn't suffer the same fate. I hear the game's audio is a bit compressed, but that seems like a minor issue. It's Sly Cooper on the go. Doesn't really need to do much more than that. Bit of a warning with the Vita version though. Sly 1 and 2 are on cartridge, but Sly 3 is a separate 3GB download. Apparently the vouchers for Sly 3 have expired, but apparently still work? I'm not too sure. I'm mainly going off Amazon reviews. Not sure why they couldn't just include the game with a patch or something, but whatever. You can avoid all this voucher hassle by buying it digitally though. I just recommend doing that for Vita if you have 6 gigs to spare, because it's actually cheaper than the physical version. The PS3 and Vita collections are both $15 on the PlayStation Store, as opposed to $20 on Amazon. To recap, PS3 is best, Vita if you have the digital space, then PS2. Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus is still a really fun game all these years later. It is a tad bit short, but it's still a fun time regardless. For what it is, the first game doesn't really have any major issues. It can be a little hard to see save numbers sometimes, but that's mainly about it. It's still a fun, short 3D platform and still feels pretty unique thanks to its emphasis on stealth. I'll be the first to admit that's probably the worst in the series, but it's still one of my favorite PS2 games. Is it still my favorite in the series? I don't know. I haven't played this series in years, so I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I'll be sure to replay the rest of the series before I tackle the next game. Sly has always been pretty underrated in my eyes, and this game is no exception. If you're a fan of platforms like I am, be sure to give this series a shot. I mean, hey, this is one of the few games my sister plays other than Pokemon. The HD collections are pretty cheap nowadays, so we can get 3/4 of the series in one go. If by the end it doesn't suit your fancy, try out Sly 2. The rest of the series has a more sandbox approach, which works for these games way better. But at the end of the day, the first game is still an enjoyable game, even if the series just gets better from here. This has been that Flame Assassin guy, and Sly Cooper is my favorite PlayStation franchise. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next mission.